Hello, Stuart.
Again,
We're back. I thought we'd do some content because a lot's happened. A lot's in popular news at the moment.
that's how we're going to
mainly being Sean Dyche being sacked as Everton manager.
Yeah. Well,
the baldy cunt's gone.
You see a lot of people talking about like, why have they done it? Like, what more do you want? He's done such a great job, and he did. To be fair, he did. He kept us up, but you get to that point where the football we played this season is worse than last season. And we didn't play great football, but at least we there was a patch where we didn't score any goals, obviously, but it's even worse this year. So how long can you go before you really start to worry? Because Ipswich can actually score goals. We scored 10 less goals from open play than
I'd love that
else.
Rory Delap from Ipswich, me.
Liam Delap.
To
be fair, I'd take Rory Delap. I would take Rory Delap.
Liam Delap, yeah.
Lashing those balls at the keeper. But, that Liam Delap is probably going to end up with a big move in the summer, but they can score goals. Wolves can score goals. Even Leicester can score goals. I think those three will still go down. But the longer we carried on with Dyche, the further you were going to get into it. And like, how long can you just 0-0 your way through a season?
That's it, isn't it?
Oh, Dyche is great defensively, but he's not though.
I reckon we would have went down under him. And even if the next manager turns out to be shit and takes us down, it still would have been the right decision to get rid of him.
Yeah, to be honest, I still don't think we'd have gone down under him this year. But it would have been the most miserable season. It would have been such a miserable season.
Yeah.
It'd have been close.
Everyone's miserable anyway. All the fans are miserable.
So you may as well make a change. Like, what is the point continuing with it? And some of the players, like a lot of people are saying, like, what more can you do with this squad? I'm not saying this squad is very good at all, but a better manager will get more out of the team.
Do you know what I quite like? How ruthless they are straight away.
Yeah.
Like, for 6, 7, 8 years now, there's been dithering and dilly-dallying around, like sacking managers and getting rid of players and doing this and that. And people have been there when they never should have been there. Like Lampard should have been sacked about 10 games before. Yeah. Benitez should never have been there.
Well, Lampard, like, there was the international break, wasn't it? And didn't we just get battered by Bournemouth again, or something happened?
Yeah.
And they had the international break where they could have the World Cup, but the winter break, whatever it was.
Yeah, we got battered by Bournemouth, and then they should have sacked him then, and then they had all that time to like bring in a new manager, maybe sign a few players, and then he didn't. But I love, like, it was like, it's a bit harsh to let him take training and then sacking him after. I thought, fucking ruthless that. Like,
yeah.
I think that's what we need. Like,
it definitely is. But the issue with them is they're. If you look at what they did at Roma, they sacked. So they brought De Rossi in interim, didn't they?
Yeah.
And then sacked him 4 games into the season, replaced him with that Juric. Then sacked him very quickly, and then brought Ranieri in.
Yeah.
So like,
they appointed Daniel De Rossi, who's like a club legend. And they sacked him after 4 games.
Yeah, that's the problem. But it's like in the early days of Mashiri, where like so Martinez was gone, they brought Koeman in. Koeman had to go because I think it was just again it was a really toxic environment. But then when Marco Silva came in, didn't Marco Silva get sacked when we were like 11th in the league?
Yeah.
We were on a really poor run of form, like 5 games we'd lost or whatever, but they sacked him. And like, I know that's the whole thing of, well, if you look at Silva now, he's doing great at Fulham, you've got given time, etc, etc. Would we have gone down under Silva? I don't know, but could we have built a better team? I don't know. I just think it's been a shambles ever since. It's been a shambles since Mashiri's come in. Let's just be honest. It hasn't been the one thing that he has done is given the stadium, but like spending all that money that they did in the early stages. That we bought 4 number 10s in one transfer window. Do you know what I mean? And like, it ruined us financially, so that when all this PSR stuff came in, we didn't have a leg to stand on. There was nothing we could do. Yeah. I think we're one of the only clubs to have a net spend, a positive net spend or something in the league to try and stay in the Premier League. Like, it's mad. I don't know. It's one of those things. Careful what you wish for. What more do you want? I think Everton fans know. I think nowadays you kind of got to. I know Villa got a new manager and they went, they skyrocketed. That's something that you can hope for. But to be honest, we need to like.
Thing is, though, they had good players.
Yeah, they had a good squad. They did have a good squad.
But we're shite.
The one thing you lack, like most of the teams, like you look at Ipswich, you look at Leicester, you even look at like Wolves. Wolves, for example, have got some great players. They've all got pace. We don't.
Yeah.
There's maybe 1 or 2 players in the entire squad.
Yeah, but when you're being coached to pass the ball sideways, defend and not go forward, and when he's saying stuff like Illiman and Dye, who's our best footballer, can't play number 10. and he needs to be tracking back more. It's like, come on.
He's got some of the best defensive.
We're better than down there. Like we're not great, but like we can finish sort of bottom of the top half, top of the bottom half.
With a better manager, the current squad is like between 10 and 12th at best.
I would say.
At best.
I would say.
Do you know what I mean? So why not?
Without them 10 points last season, we would have finished 10th, I think, or 11th.
It was 11th or 12th, I think. It was above Brighton anyway.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. And the big change from last season is we lost Onana, and from the first team squad we lost Onana. Have we lost anyone else? I can't remember who else we lost from the first team.
Well, before that we lost for Charleston. That was a big loss, and then we lost.
But just off the back of last season, we would have finished 11th or 12th.
We should never have brought Jack Harrison back. We should have signed someone else.
Waste of a loan in. But going.
I think he might get terminated this month.
They don't be able to. Leeds have got to agree that they want him back, and they don't want him. He wouldn't get in their team now, so he's not going back.
Well, we had the choice to sign Nonso from Leeds or Harrison. We chose Harrison.
They wouldn't sell us Nonso. They would not sell us. And if we go back in for him again, then honest to God, Thelwell needs to pack it in.
But he's the opposite to Harrison in the sense he's got pace, but he's got no fucking ability to cross the ball.
It's just weird. But yeah, so we lose Onana, and then this season, and he barely played it. He didn't like Onana towards the end of it. Why is the style of play off the back of last year changed so much? Like you look at all these little online nerds that track like passages of play and all these kind of stuff. Our one against who was the last game we played? Was it Bournemouth? Bournemouth the last game.
Yeah, didn't have a shot on target.
Yeah. So and you see some teams and they do like the heat maps or like the average position of players, and you can see a 3-4-3 and the passing networks. Everton's was a blatant square and a diagonal ball to the end of the pitch. There was no we literally just give it to, and the big one here, the highest average touch was Pickford to Tarkowski and a fucking ball launched forward. And it's so boring. Like, all the other teams have invested around us, so that there's nothing we can do about that because of PSR. But I just don't understand how the football deteriorated even further back from where it was, and then we have to just be thankful that he kept us up. Like, give us somebody else to a slightly better football.
Like, if we'd have stayed up the season, he would have bored the death out of us doing it. Like,
it'd just been a horrible end to the season.
But the thing for me is we don't even need to play like that. You know what I mean? There's no need to play like that.
Yeah,
that
and that's it. There isn't like. Calvert-Lewin improved. I know Calvert-Lewin splits the fan base, but Calvert-Lewin improved under Ancelotti. If you put him in a system whereby there's cutbacks and all he's got to do is finish, and it's direct, but it's get the ball into the box so that he can finish rather than just smashing it at his face. I know he scores a lot of headed goals, but they were coming from, crosses from deep, crosses from the byline, whatever. You can't. Strikers just die a death under Dyche. Yeah. There's just no way it was ever going to work, and he had to go because it was getting more and more toxic, and his comments in the media and everything was just it was never going to last under the Friedkin.
It's a walking meme, innit? Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah. He loves a rave up, doesn't he?
Apparently, he'd said that he took the club as far as he can take them. Do with that what you want.
And they just went fuck off.
And they said, "We'll accept your resignation." To which he said, I'm saying this like I was there in the conversation. It's just from what you see on Twitter. And he said, it's not a resignation because he in his contract was given that if he was sacked, he'd get an extra year of pay. So we had 6 months left. So if we'd have sacked him, we'd have had to pay him.
What's that in a contract anyway?
A billionaire accountant, apparently.
Mad, did it? Mad.
It makes no sense.
No.
So we'd have got 18 months worth of money. And
it's funny, innit, with like Twitter, like. Obviously, this is what we do now. Is like social media stuff. With like going on Twitter now, it's turned since Elon Musk. Which
don't have to start that.
I quite fucking like him in the sense that he's a fucking lunatic.
Yeah, depends which direction you want this podcast episode to take. I've got some stuff to say on Elon Musk.
Elon Musk, right? So he bought Twitter, and again, I don't know the ins and outs of like the purchase of Twitter or anything, but he now owns Twitter, now X. He's allowed free speech to happen. He doesn't censor anyone unless it's illegal.
No, he does. He does.
Okay, we'll get into this.
Yeah.
But
he's not for free speech at all.
Interestingly, Zuckerberg took a complete U-turn on censorship laws on Facebook and Instagram. Now, I got this feeling over the next sort of 6 months or 12 months or whatever, or definitely in 2025, like the whole of social media is going to become the fucking Wild West. And you're going to see marketing like content marketing for fit pros, for businesses like we work with, completely change. Like the things that people are going to be talking about are going to be fucking insane.
A lot of people talk about Elon Musk being anti-establishment. He quite literally is the establishment. He is the establishment
So,
simply because
to clarify, are you a fan of Elon Musk? Or
No. He's a dangerous person.
All right, in what sense?
So, if you look at, he's for free speech and he's anti-establishment. If you look at the investors, which were redacted, and he didn't want named public, Saudi Arabia is the biggest shareholder. Are they for free speech? No. And then you work your way down of all of these things. Peter Thiel.
Yeah.
Do you know who Peter Thiel is?
Yeah, I know Peter Thiel.
Palantir, all these kind of things. Yeah. He's quite literally the establishment. He's either on the board of, invests in, or owns everything you can think of. Yeah. It's all intelligence. It's all intelligence-based companies, whatever else. And Elon Musk is anti-establishment, even though he's great friends with all these people, and they all invest in his businesses, or he sits on the board.
So what's the reason then why he is investing like so much time and energy commenting on like UK politics, German politics?
So because the whole reason he was allowed to buy X, or to buy Twitter, was because they did a bunch of stuff in regards to like releasing the Twitter files to show censorship and all those kind of things. Elon Musk messes with the algorithm. He controls the algorithm. Why does he get the most engagement on there? And when it came to this election with Trump, and you're seeing so many accounts of like conservatives being created. Now they get checkmark, they get blue ticks, they get monetization, and they get XYZ. So they only had to pander to what Elon Musk liked to do with the election, to get retweets, which are worth millions and millions of views, to then obviously make more money. I'm not saying the election was rigged, but We Are the Media now was rigged in a way that it pushed so many more right-wing agendas. Now, I'm not saying I wanted Trump or Kamala to win, because I think they're both the same face in a different way, with the same face with a different mask.
Yeah.
But now, oh god, this is going to go weird. He's removing verification, monetization, and shadow banning any accounts that are critical of Israel.
Why so?
Because he's Netanyahu's like a friend.
Is he?
Yeah. That's not even very difficult to look into either. So
mad,
if you're critical, if you understand the Americans' relationship with Israel, you'll see why. But so they started censoring, and he was being called out for it. They also the whole election was ran on immigration, wasn't it? Until they now won it, and then a couple of weeks ago, it was like, oh, actually, we do like the Indians, and we do like people from certain areas to come in on H-1B visas because the tech industry needs it, because basically Americans are stupid. Yeah. So he was getting uproar for that. Absolutely caned online for it, and he could censor things, he could shadow ban stuff. Oh, so there's a big fire on me right now. Oh, let's have a look what's happening in the UK. Tommy Robinson. Oh, free Tommy. Yeah. All the attention is now directed on that, and then all his little boys in the Twitter X media space, any right wing conservatives, any whatever, anything with a platform is now going free Tommy, free Tommy, free Tommy. Yeah. Look at this. Look at the UK. Look, they love immigration. They love the Muslims. Blah, 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 blah.
It's like fucking.
It's a complete distraction that's moved over to it, and the whole thing around Farage and reform. He wants to do the exact same thing and control. Why is he asking for? Why is he asking? Who is he? He's just a business owner. Right. So why is he asking for parliaments and governments to be destroyed and replaced by other people? Like, who does he actually think he is? If he's just this chill guy who's a billionaire, what's he playing at? Yeah. He likes controlling. Like,
can't have that much money. Like when you could literally buy governments over and over and over again. Like you could buy the government.
My take.
He's got more wealth than like, or is it something like all of European parliaments combined?
Yeah. Only because he's allowed it. Billionaires only become billionaires because they're allowed to be. Because think about it, if
you work to the fucking bone and make £1 billion over fucking 30, 40 years.
So to make billions, most of that is based on share price, shares and stocks. It's not liquid cash.
Yeah.
You might have 300 billion liquid cash. It's all share price.
Yeah.
And who dictates the markets? The big boys. So that's why, like, for example, if you say things that they don't like, your share price just plummets. People pull out. People do whatever. But if you do what you're told, you're allowed to have the money that you're allowed to have. If he's so anti-establishment, if you look into the investors, into Twitter and all that kind of things, why would the establishment allow him to do and say what he wants if he's so anti? He's doing what he's allowed to be. He's doing exactly what he's allowed to do right now.
Mad, isn't it?
Honestly, it's absolutely mental. It is insanity. But it's the same as Zuckerberg. Zuckerberg's rebranded himself as this like super chill guy. You know, look at my hair, look at the little chain I wear. I surf, I drink.
Yeah.
I'm so cool.
Yeah.
He's a lizard. They're all just fucking lizards, man. They're just weirdos. They're
we went to a talk last night. Dr. Colin Robertson was doing a talk on like gut health and nutrition. Was filming it, and he was saying like, you don't need £1 billion. No one needs £1 billion.
Yeah, no, they don't.
It's like if you want to be rich, like the cool thing is, I want to become a billionaire. It's like, no, you don't. You don't want to become a billionaire because no billionaire gets to become a billionaire ethically.
No, they're allowed to become one.
Yeah.
Like I'm not against capitalism at all. I think capitalism is the only way that society functions. Yeah. But when you get to a point where you've got big institutional venture capital investors and like that's the only way you'll actually get to that point. You need to take that type of money on. You then look into who these venture capitalists are, who these hedge funds are, who these firms are, and you look into their backgrounds and you're like, there's got to be a reason why. There's got to be a reason why these things are happening. And it's the same group of like 15 to 20 people of influence that are all on the same boards. They're on the same boards. They control the same flow of money. They all work for the same people. And it's always to do with fucking intelligent stuff, and it's always to do with whatever. It's a mess.
So how do you think social media is going to look over the next 6 months? With
however they want it to look.
This backtracking of like free speech. And
it won't change at all. It won't change at all because it's all a big shadow. It's a big cloud. No one sees that it's happening.
So I think Twitter's like the fucking Wild West now. Like anything goes. Like it's quite entertaining to look at from an outside point of view.
Yeah.
Just feel like someone who's like pretty meaningless in the grand scheme of things.
It's allowed people to say whatever they want without consequence, which is the issue. Like there should be consequence. I know you get the whole thing of like, in Britain, people being put in jail because of social media posts, but then again, you only see the headline. There's a guy the other day that Elon Musk tweeted about, he said something online, he got 7.5 years. Well, allegedly, when they arrested him and found him, he had a copy of Hitler's Mein Kampf book or whatever it's called. He had knives all over and loads of Nazi paraphernalia. Maybe that had something to do with it. Maybe there's a hate crime involved there. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just it's weird.
It's like Tommy Robinson's not in jail for like innocent reasons.
No, he's not. He's in jail for defamation, isn't it, or contempt of court?
Yeah, it was that video that got like shadow banned, and he got told if he played it in public
because he was sued by the boy.
Yeah, but then he went on that march and put it on a massive big screen in central London.
To be honest, like if that side of the movement wants to be heard, Tommy Robinson isn't the guy they need to hold as the martyr.
No, that's why Nigel Farage is like distancing himself from like
so they should,
the Reform Party.
Yeah, I'm a weird one with Reform. Like
it makes sense. Like total transparency. I film the Reform Party podcast. Like,
but I see the fact that you even have to say that is the problem. It shouldn't matter.
But actually, when I'm listening to the conversation, there's stuff that you agree with and disagree with. And 80% of it, if you spoke to a man in the pub having a pint with him, the average man in Britain, it makes complete fucking sense.
But that's the thing. Like, like it's one of those things nowadays where in politics, it's like. It's almost like football in the sense of the side I'm on can do no wrong, and I don't disagree with a single thing. I don't align myself with any of the parties, but there's some things that you hear from the Conservatives where you're like, makes sense. There's some things that you hear from Labour you're like, makes sense. Even Reform makes sense. But there's stuff with all of them that I think is a load of garbage, and they're full of shit. Yeah. They all are anyway. But you shouldn't have to. Like, I'm not saying I don't want Reform in power. But I think they're a necessary party because they're. Let me finish this just in case it gets out of context. They're a necessary party because they are very, very different to the others. Now it forces a conversation. I'm not saying it's the right conversation.
They're the only like literally the only opposition to the establishment. Like Labour, like whatever side you fall on of that blue or red, like it is the establishment. You're going to get the same thing.
Yeah.
One's wearing a red tie, one's wearing a blue tie. The only, like, Reform's only strength, really, and only position of power is the fact that they are the opposition. Yeah. And most people go, do you know what? I've had enough of that fucking establishment.
But the bigger they get, the more they just become.
People like Elon Musk will bang on Twitter, reform for the win, and it'll grow, and people will support it.
I don't think it'll grow as much as they think it will. I think something will happen prior to that. Like they'll just, again, Farage isn't the right person to take it forward. All their MPs.
There's what is it, 5 MPs now?
Yeah, all the people that are just surrounded by them. Like you've got Ant Middleton going, oh, I'll run for mayor. Mate, you got arrested and put in jail for battering 2 police officers. Do you know what I mean? Like you're not, the right people aren't associating themselves with the party. So like it's just a weird one. I think they're a necessary conversation.
Ant Middleton.
But
so funny.
The more they grow, the more they become the establishment. You have to become the establishment unless you destroy the entire thing.
It's actually possible to get people like that in power. Like in America, if you have enough money and enough support, you can become the president.
But it's like Andrew Tate. Have you seen what he's done? Yeah. He's like, oh, I've formed the Bruv Party. You haven't, though. That's not how it works. Yeah. Like it isn't how it works. He's just going to sell a subscription to the fucking Bruv Party, and I'm going to run for prime minister. You don't run for prime minister.
You can't. Like in this country, the way it works, the way it's set up, you can't do it. There's never going to be like a young sensation of a politician that comes up through the ranks and becomes the prime minister. No. It's never going to happen because you've got to go through fucking the local MP seat and then get like in the seat.
Well, you've got the
you can become a lord. Yeah, technically, but most lords are like over 50.
You got the independents and stuff, haven't you, like Corbyn or whatever? But even still, like you're never gonna get the support that you think you need. But it's just weird. The whole scenario around it. Everyone's the same. We'll go down more rabbit holes.
How do you think that like transpires for people like us in business, like small business owners? In the fitness industry or outside the fitness industry?
Anything, yeah. I don't know, it's hard because you never want to be in a position where what you do is affected by a law that's passed through by the government. But what are you meant to do if like all of the costs that are going up in the pursuit of fucking climate change and all that kind of stuff, there's nothing you can do about it. They pass a law and that's that. So the other countries are going to help. I think are going to help to provide ways for business owners, whether they be UK, whether it be America, whether it be whatever, to make it easier to actually invest in that country. It's only going to damage this one because the only way to collect more taxes off people now is just all these little shadow taxes that kind of arrive in your energy bills, in your food prices, and your whatever else, because you can't take any more of income. Yeah. Because then you're obviously driving more people into poverty, you know what I mean? So it's just weird. It's all a big mess. Something needs to change and something needs to happen. Typically, the only way that usually happens is after the war. Yeah, let's do that again. Do you know what I mean? It's depressing. Podcast's fucking depressing.
So, Stu, obviously we touched a little bit there about social media, but
yeah. In a bit of a dark way.
Yeah. Slightly more positive now, though. In terms of going forward this year in 2025, what do you think, like, sort of fit pros, people you work with, and people like me who've been fit pros, but, like, sort of ventured out into other businesses now, should be looking out for in terms of, like, not just social media, but, like, sort of content marketing, sales, leads, and all that kind of stuff?
To be honest, I don't really know. I think it changes all the time. I think people documenting their journey is always a huge one, isn't it? I think people are always looking for that type of stuff.
There's definitely an element to that. Like I noticed last year, definitely towards the end of last year, my talking head content was probably my worst performing content.
Yeah, I think it's good to have, but I think people don't become bored of it. But I think it's very good for authority. So, for example, with mine, most of mine is talking head, just because of like I'm not really sure what content I need to be doing right now because of what it is that I offer. And a lot of my business comes through referrals, and a lot of the time they'll say, oh, such and such sent me to you, so I went to your page and had a look. So I've got all that's there for authority.
I think it's great for building authority, to be fair. And if you look back, if you look historically on my content, the first probably 3 years of the business, it was pretty much all talking head.
Yeah.
And it's great for it. What I'm quite enjoying at the moment, and I'm just being a geek with this, is trial reels. Trial reels are fucking bad.
What are they?
So basically, you go on Instagram and you post a reel like normal, but you click trial reel, and it gets posted, but not to your followers, but to non-followers.
Oh,
it won't get shown on feed.
Oh, okay.
It will just get shown to non-followers. Now, you won't get any views. Like, you do, but like it's very slow build up. So you might see like 100 views after like
an hour or so. Whatever.
Now, I've done this, and I've been doing like 2 or 3 a day for like 2 weeks, and a few of them have just got like 5,000 views after like 24 hours.
Yeah.
Because after 24 hours, you got the choice then to post it.
Oh, turn it into a normal one.
Normal.
Yeah.
So in theory, the best performing ones get posted, the shitter ones don't. But for me, like, it's like I've been doing 2 or 3 a day with different hooks, different styles. I've done one where it's just literally a talking head, and I've just used Instagram stuff, like the text, the subtitles, and didn't work that well. I've done another one where it was like quite highly edited, different like cuts and angles and stuff, performed quite well. Then I've done another one where it was like a title, subtitles, but then cut into like, you know, like film scenes, like famous film scenes.
Oh yeah, like not memes.
You know, like Matthew McConaughey in Wolf of Wall Street, like famous meme style ones.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna pull my arse, honestly. But you get feedback from non-followers.
Yeah.
It's a great way of like building. I've gained like 200 followers in like the last sort of month, just through fucking trial reels.
That's good to be fair, to get that live feedback, because especially as you realise which ones work, that 200 followers turns into more, doesn't it? Like,
you realise what hooks work as well.
Yeah.
So as a little sort of value add for anyone watching, if you use this sort of adjective words like imaginative words like imagine, did you know, things that like future pace the clients in the head, did you know?
Yeah.
Have you heard about, as starters to your hook. So imagine a life where you'd fucking live like
yeah.
Or like, did you know that 99% of people fucking fail the first diet in the new year? Things like that. When you use them words, they perform considerably better than your standard 5 tips to get fit in the new year.
Yeah. No, I can imagine. I think remember when Instagram Reels really started kicking off, and it was all the whole cut every 3 seconds, be in a different room, doing something different and whatever else. I think it is one of those that keeps people interested to watch, doesn't it? But in that instance, like you say, to get that feedback is it just means you're not posting and hoping.
I mean, don't get me wrong, not everyone does content full time.
Yeah.
So not everyone has the fucking time or inclination to do 2 or 3 trial reels.
Yeah, testing on.
But for me, like, I want to get to a point where I've got like spreadsheets with like what actually performs. So when a client comes into the business, I can go, right, okay, we've done data analytical feedback over a 6-month period, and this is legitimately what is working. Not some fucking random social media coach on the internet going, oh, yeah, the algorithm fucking shit because you use camera or something like that. And it's like, no. We've done proper data analytical feedback over a fucking considerable period, and you can see this is not like us being biased towards one thing. It's like, this is legitimately what works. Now, I'm not religious to any sort of type of content. Like, I love talking head content, and it's the easiest thing to do. But because you literally just point the camera and talk, right?
Yeah, it only takes so far, doesn't it? Like, I think there's defo variations.
But I can honestly say, like, that's not performing at the moment for me, so I'm not doing as much.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now, podcast style content like this does.
Yeah.
But conversational stuff works. Talking to the camera, giving like authoritative opinions, not so much in terms of like going, like growing up families or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, the feedback's fucking boss.
Well, it's better than guessing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's better than guessing.
But it becomes more predictable than what you do as well. So if I can say to someone like yourself, right, okay, this is performing best, you get more predictive lead gen doing this, hence more predictive.
Do more
sales.
of it. Yeah. No, absolutely.
And then you're feeding that back into your clients, going, do you know what? Actually, this is where, well, this has generated X amount of leads from this. That's a good selling point for like future clients as well, where you can go, actually, things do change, things do evolve over time, but as of right now, this is what's performing.
Yeah, it is hard. It's hard to keep up with what works, to be honest, because I think you get stuck in just doing what you're always doing because it's easier.
Yeah.
But you definitely see the decline of things that you're currently doing, and then it's like, it's hard not to get stuck on like just trends that you see people doing, and then they're not sustainable, and all of a sudden you got a mishmash of stuff, and there's no real identity to what it is that you're doing, and it does get hard. But I think a lot of the time, obviously the storytelling aspect always works well, but sometimes you don't really have a story to tell. Yeah, I was like, I'll do storytelling content. I don't know what kind of a story I've got to tell. Do you know what I mean? I build sales teams. It's not spectacular.
I had John, who was a sales guy, and
it's mad. I suppose you could pick one out, but
you want to be like it's ethical as well. Like, I'm not just going to make a story up for this.
Just randomly make one up.
You know what I mean? Like,
well, it's like in copywriting, and it always kind of not makes me cringe, but I won't read it. I can't get behind it. Where it's like find things that are happening and then relate it to what it is that you're doing. But you see loads of copy, and it's like it starts off with like, oh, and that was the day where XYZ happened, and I said I'd never do it again. Have you ever been in this position where when it kind of, and then they get you under the line and they start telling this story, but then
do you know what the one that gets me?
This is why you.
Do you know the one that gets me? It's where usually the women, but some men as well, they'll press the camera on.
They're crying. Yeah.
Wiping their eyes, going.
It's that authenticity.
And then they go straight into some rants, and they stop crying, and it's like. Are you fucking messing?
It's all the ones where it's like, not every day is a good day, but it's like little images of them crying. It's like a couple of edits of the days they were crying, and it's like, oh, get a grip, man, come on. But I think, right,
who generally thinks to themselves, right, I'm obsessed about something, I'm going to cry, and I'm going to, like, before I cry though, I'm going to pop my camera off.
I tell you what, let's say they are bawling their eyes out. You know what? This would be a great time to. Right, I'll save that for my video later. It's just weird, and also the big thing is, because the majority of my feed is fit pros. Why is it making people so feminine? It's making people so feminine.
Feminizing men.
Feminine, making like the amount of, because it's a very egocentric.
You get the views.
Yeah,
get the views.
I seen content the other day, and it was a lad.
You're running the risk of that. Do you know that Paul Alina?
Yeah.
You're running the risk of him grabbing a piece of content and fucking just ripping the shit out of you.
For me, I don't post enough for that to happen. But it's like, so it was a fit pro. It was he's in great shape, abs, all the good stuff. But the post was a face and trim update. And it was a swipe catalogue of 9 images of his face and his haircut. And you're just like,
oh my god.
Proper pouty little face as well. When people go like, oh, I hate that whole, men used to go to war.
Yeah.
But in this case, men used to go to war.
Yeah.
And now they post selfies of their trim and face updates.
It's so funny.
It's just weird.
Knew, like me and you started like doing this when I started doing this. We were doing it together, right? Like, and there's, like the journey I've been on with this business.
Yeah.
Like, I could have grown this business by doing content like that far quicker.
I couldn't. Not
I couldn't. Honestly, I just generally couldn't bring myself to do it.
It's weird. But I struggle. I didn't want to be post the other day. I struggle to even talk about what I do. Do you know what I mean? I struggle to even to say like what things you've achieved, because you go online and there's some people that all their content is like, oh, I've had such a hard year. Here's everything I've done. You're like, all right, give it nice, great. Yeah. You said it every day. Chill out, man.
The difference is those two. You know what you're doing. You know what you're doing.
I'd like to think anyway.
That's it. Most of these people, they do the contents, but there's got to be someone who must sign up for the fucking stuff.
A lot of these people are people that are doing well as well. You assume they are, which is fine. But I don't know the landscape of it sometimes, and I'm probably just really cynical because it's all I see.
Skins.
Yeah.
Honestly, I've come across people with 100,000 followers and the fucking skins.
Oh no, same, yeah, 100%, yeah. They make no money at all.
Yeah.
I think it's even more idiotic to have a big following and not make money now than it was a few years back. Like if you don't it's hard. I'm not even going to say.
We're doing good. We're doing good money in the business now. I've got less than 2,000 followers.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like it's not like you can have 2,000 followers and 80% engagements, like we have, or you could have 10,000 followers and 20% engagements. What works better? Like,
yeah, I know what you
know what I mean? Like,
I know what you mean.
I'd rather have really high engagement and grow like slowly and over time. That's not going to like be appealing to people. It's not like the best marketing tactic in the world because people want to grow fast. And generally, more brand awareness equals more money, which I get. But
depends what you're selling as well, though. Because if you're selling a service,
I've built a content business, but like to good money without having a massive following.
Yeah.
But the people who do, but I mean, to be honest, my network is fucking massive now. Like, to be fair.
Yeah.
Like I know
but
most people.
It's one of those that like, depending on what you're selling. If you're selling a service that's something that you can charge monthly for at a good price, you don't need a big following at all because you can probably you could have anything between 5 and say 20 clients charging a good rate, and you're sorted. So you don't need 10,000 followers. But if you're selling digital products, things under say 500 quid. That are one-off, like you know, like that's why a lot of TikTokers work, because a lot of the fit pros were just selling one-off training plans for like $99 or whatever. So you're going to need, you know, if you get 1 million followers and you're selling that, you're making bank every time that you post.
If you can go on a TikTok, what is it, TikTok live shopping like QVC style?
Yeah.
You can make 10 grand every time you just go live. Then
it is mental. That I don't really know too much about it. I know that people do it, but I think
it's one of them things that a load of like social media people, especially females, they'll jump on and they'll go, right, we're going to do TikTok live shopping, we're going to sell stuff online live.
Yeah.
And you'll see this, I think, with like men's, like, you know, like clothes and remote closes, they'll be like, you can get a 15% commission on any TikTok live product that you sell, rather than like you know, an hour-long sales call where you sell like a $4 grand product. Like, you know, you'll get that. But the money won't be great because not a lot of people will sell 10 grand. It's like comparing it, like OnlyFans. You'll get the outliers who make fucking hundreds of thousands every month, but you probably get 1 million girls doing fucking no money at all.
Yeah, well, OnlyFans was originally a bit like Patreon, wasn't it? There's a lot of fitness content on there.
I don't even know the model of it really.
It's paywall, isn't it? Just get exclusive content behind a paywall, and it was the sex industry that took over OnlyFans. But you know when we were saying about men, you know, the whole thing around men used to go to war and now they do X, Y, Z. Well, I said this once. I said it to someone the other day. I was like, women used to look after the family, but now they get the flaps out for $5.99 on the internet. It didn't go down very well, but it's the same thing, isn't it? Yeah, you could say about either one. Men used to go to war, but well, you know, women used to do something that was useful. Oh my God, something that was useful. Yeah. Don't clip that one. You know what I mean?
Just sell stuff. You know, get your flaps out. Lastly, then, just quickly, 2025. What does it hold for you?
Obviously, build up more sales teams, but I think figuring out a way to kind of just solidify what I'm doing. I have quite good shiny. Well, when I say good, shiny object syndrome. So I'll start doing something, do all right, and then think I need to move on to something else alongside it, and that's where things start to wobble. So just solidify what I'm doing. Start a podcast, but as we it didn't record, but as we were saying, from more of a perspective of networking and building relationships with people. Like if I want my foot in the door with bigger businesses to build bigger sales teams, then it's probably going to be the best way to do it. To get the guests on, but it's also good for content as well. So, but yeah, just keep it simple. 2024 was quite hectic in a bad way for the first 8 months. So just make sure that I have a good 12 months of it being good. It's probably ideal.
Damn, mate. Nice one for coming on. We'll do this again soon.
All good.